You know, there's nothing more frustrating when you pull a piece of equipment out and can't get it fired up. Many times this happens after we store that for a long period of time, holding the old fuel in the fuel tank. With the ethanol we now have in most of the gasolines, although it extends the fuel supply, it's really bad on our small motors. Hey folks, I'm Bob Westerfield with the University of Georgia Horticulture Department. What I'd like to show you today is how to properly store your equipment for long periods, particularly if you're going to keep it all winter long stored away and then expect it to fire up in the springtime. You absolutely want to make sure that you store it properly so that when the springtime comes and you pull that cord, hopefully it'll fire up in 1 or 2 pulls. So the first thing to properly store your equipment, motorized equipment, for the wintertime or a long period of time is to go ahead and empty out all of the current fuel that's in there. Try to use an approved container like a gasoline container that contains the same type of fuel, whether it be straight gasoline or mixed. In this case, we've got mixed fuel. We're going to pour it right back into the gas can. Do this carefully. So after you emptied all of the fuel out of the tank, it's important to get the rest of the fuel out of the system. There's still fuel in the carburetor and the fuel lines. The best way to do that is turn the machine on and go ahead and fire it up and let it run till it completely stalls out and is completely dry of fuel. If you choose to leave the fuel in the tank, at least you want to make sure that you've used some type of a fuel preservative. There's many different types out there on the market. What these do is help to keep the ethanol from collecting so much moisture, and it'll extend the life of that fuel maybe a month or so. But really, ideally, it's best to empty the system completely by emptying the gas tank and then running all the excess fuel out of the carburetor and the fuel lines. The next thing I like to do after emptying out all the fuel is to check the condition of the spark plug. To do that, remove the spark plug boot and then use your spark plug tool to unscrew it from the motor. What you're looking for is any carbon deposit, any type of buildup. The cheapest thing and the easiest thing to do is, if you're kind of uncertain, just replace the spark plug with one that is comparable to the one that was in there. You can use a light cloth and wipe them off a little bit and clean it. The other thing I like to do is check the gap of the spark plug. Now this should be set from the beginning, but sometimes it can actually wear down or move. The gap is the distance between the tip of that electrode and this arm that comes over. You really need to look at your manufacturer details to see what the gap should be. In this case, it's an 035, so I've got a testing tool right here, and I slip it in to where it's snug. If you need to make an adjustment, you'll have to bend that arm either up or down to get the proper gap. One of the final things I do in order to winterize my equipment is go ahead and check the condition of the air breather. Certainly if it's really dirty, you may need to replace it. Oftentimes though, it just takes a little bit of cleaning and it's good to go for next season. The air breather is normally attached right to the carburetor, so we'll take it off. And this one still looks relatively clean. Now this is a paper element, so you can either replace it, or if you wanted to use a little compressed air, you could certainly blow this out. If you had a foam type element, that can be washed in soap and water. Do not use any petroleum products like gasoline to clean them. Just good soap and water, let them dry out, the foam elements, and they can be put back in again. Okay, so I put the air breather back on. I have emptied all the fuel. I've cleaned and checked the spark plug and put a little bit of spray down in the cylinder wall. It's pretty much ready to store. The only other thing you might want to do if this was a lawnmower or something like a chainsaw is go ahead and check the condition of the blade, and if it needs to be replaced, do that, or possibly sharpen it. That way when you get to next season, in the springtime, summer, or whenever you crank it again, hopefully within a pull or two that thing will fire up and you'll be ready to use it again.